Welcome to the Young Crones Cafe, where you can get a magic brew full of all sorts of information, both witchy and practical.
Grab a cup of coffee and join us. I'm Elizabeth, a wordsmith.
And I'm Dave, a modern-day sage.
We are going to talk about various witchcraft and life topics from a slightly more mature perspective, at least most of the time.
Thanks for joining us.
We interrupt our regularly scheduled podcast cycle to make this exciting announcement. After much discussion, debate, heightened stress levels, and copious amounts of caffeine to get everything done in time, we've created a Patreon account called the Young Crones Cafe that will launch this year on November 1st to help support our podcast community.
And why did we decide to create this Patreon account? Obviously, there are monetary considerations in the mix, as there are with any Patreon. We are hoping to be able to offset some of the administrative costs of creating our podcast so we can keep doing it. This would include stuff like editing expenses, distribution costs, computer programs we pay for, et cetera, and of course, much coffee. The real overwhelming...
Yes, much coffee.
Yes, but the real overwhelming reason is that we're hoping to create an online community of our listeners. And this is partially for selfish reasons again, because we get to meet and interact with like-minded people and continue our own spiritual growth.
We chose Discord because I looked across a handful of different platforms, primarily with wanting to have a place where we could be safe, we could be ourselves, we would not have to worry about harassing influences or outside or anything else, and yet still be able to do the different kinds of things that we'll want to do. So in the Young Crones Cafe Discord server, you'll be able to find text chat channels and voice chat channels, and we expect to have some topical forums. We'll have some stages and some presentations that we can use. We're trying to get all of our multimedia presence all into the Discord server. Come join us.
And terrific. And we are also hoping people in this new community we're creating will offer us some constructive criticism about ways to improve the podcast and the community experience itself, as well as to give us some ideas for future episodes.
Finally, this will give others a chance to interact within a safe space with themselves and the community, where we can sort of back up a bit and watch our village grow. Now that we have all that fancy-sounding motivational stuff out of the way, let's take a few minutes and let you know about the various levels of support on our Patreon and what some of the perks of joining at the various levels we have planned for our members.
Obviously, since we're an online cafe, our levels are named after different types of coffee drinks. Slight humor there. So you can choose the level of caffeine that you need when you join. Our first and most basic level is the Cup of Joe. For $2 a month, you get unlimited access to our Discord community, including our active forums.
Next up is the latte level. You'll get access to the Discord community just like the Cup of Joes, and also will be able to participate in some of the various polls that we'll be creating to plan out future content. You'll get a shout out on the first episode of our podcast each month, and you'll get access to listen to various special events we're planning. And of course, a little swag is handy. You get a podcast logo sticker for only $5 a month.
Now, let's take a minute to talk a bit more about those special events. We have ideas in the works for special episodes about different topics, maybe some rituals that people can listen to, learn about, or maybe even participate in, various seasonal activities, all sorts of things. Obviously, this is still a work in progress, and we will keep our supporters up to date in the forum.
At the very least, we expect to be producing a quarterly Ask Me Anything meet and greet session for our members, as well as some random special events around specific days, holidays, or even projects that we're working towards. Ultimately, our special events will be driven by whatever it is that our members request. Remember, this is your community. We just have the coffee stash.
Exactly. Moving on, our third level of support is a cappuccino costing $10 a month. In addition to the latte level benefits, try saying that 5 times fast, this level adds on being able to listen to the quarterly AMA meet and greet meeting with your podcast host and a special cappuccino level podcast mug.
Our macchiato level is next, where the benefits continue to accumulate by adding on a Crohn's Cafe t-shirt and by being able to submit potential topics for special events or questions for the Ask Me Anything meetings, all for just $25 a month in your generous support.
And now, before your eyes glaze over as we continue to list benefits and levels, let's take a moment to talk about our merchandise available through the Patreon store.
Stickers and mugs and t-shirts. Oh my!
Obviously, you can get free stuff at various levels, but you can also purchase coffee mugs with unique designs for each level, as well as the aforementioned stickers, t-shirts, and hoodies with the podcast logo through our Patreon store.
Nice.
Exactly. Moving up to the next level, if you really need your caffeine, that might be us, try our espresso level for $50 a month. And to recap, you get all the benefits from previous levels, including forum access, participation in our polls of various kinds, your monthly shout out, that first episode of the month, merch, including the podcast logo sticker, coffee mug, t-shirt, and now a Young Crohn's Cafe hoodie.
Okay, I need to get myself a hoodie. Then you also, at the espresso level, will get site-wide recognition of your support, not only in the Discord forum, but on our website as well. We'll make sure that if you're supporting us that well, we'll do everything to try to help your presence on the web grow as well. With our special events and quarterly Ask Me Anythings, you'll get to participate in those processes using live text chat while recording. And finally, you'll get an individual Witchstones reading for your birthday, prepared by our sage, Dave.
And last but not least, if you want to be a partner in our podcast, join our Red Eye level for $100 a month. Obviously, you get all the benefits of the previous levels, but you will also be able to hold your own live text chat special event through us and participate in hosting one of our QAMA meetings.
And we'll work with you to produce a suitable podcast commercial for your business, which will run for 3 months free on our biweekly episodes. And got to have some swag. You'll also receive a special edition coffee drinks poster.
So now that you've listened to us ramble on about what we have set up, check it out by going to patreon.com and searching for Young Crohn's Cafe.
You can also find more of our stuff and links to everywhere by going to our website, twoyoungcrones.com on the web. Remember, that's the number 2, not TWO, Young Crones.
And so we will be back next week with a regularly scheduled episode where we will continue to discuss metaphysical kernels of thought, introduce you to another Witchstone card, and offer up another tip, trick, or witchy hint to make your life go a little more smoothly. And with that, may you find mirth and reverence in all things.
Be safe, be kind, and be loved.
So be.